All right, Aimee, welcome to the Coach Launch podcast. So good to have you here.
So excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Guys, welcome to the stage, to the Coach Launch podcast today. We're chatting with Aimee Buchler, a remarkable woman who embarked on a journey of transformation following the loss of her mother. At just 17 years old, she aspired to become the youngest European bodybuilding champion, achieving her dream by the age of 19, and even placed third in the world at the age of 20. The stress from competition suppressed her emotions and led to significant health issues, which she chose to overcome by studying naturopathic medicine, breathwork, and other holistic therapies. Aimee not only healed herself, but has also become a guide for others through her creation of the Endless Energy Method, helping numerous successful female entrepreneurs lead with boundless energy and vitality. Awesome. Let's dive into this. Are you ready to go, Aimee?
Let's do this. Let's go.
Now, I've been working with you for a while, and I'm so excited to be sharing with our audience your story. You've got an amazing story. You're helping female entrepreneurs really break through their struggles of overwhelm, doubt, burnout, struggling in their businesses, to having this capacity to have endless energy. I love this story. I love this journey. I love the way that you're helping people. So I'm really keen to get a real depth understanding of what you do. But let's start at the beginning. Let's go back to the beginning of your story, where this all started. Can you tell us some of your early beginnings, some of the frustrations and pains that you went to get to where you are today?
Yeah, 100%. So at the age of 15, from 15 to 17, I actually nursed my mum through the last 2 years of her life. So that kind of led me to grow up pretty fast. And when she died just after my 17th birthday, I was kind of thrown into, a deep sea of independence, needing to find my feet pretty fast and figure out my journey. And, at the time, I didn't have the actual emotional capacity to handle the grief and the sorrow that I was feeling from her loss. And so what I did was I channeled all of that energy into achievement. And I aced all my exams at school, and then I left school and I went traveling and I became a personal trainer. And then I got into bodybuilding and competed in the UK championships, European and world championships, and did super, super well.
No.
Yeah, it was amazing. Didn't expect any of that to happen, but it did.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the early beginnings before I experienced a deep crash. We can put it that way.
What was the deep crash?
Yeah. So after competing, my body went into it got into a really, really, really bad state. I got super unwell. I developed a ton of autoimmune conditions. I couldn't leave my house. I could barely eat, any foods. I was on like 5 different foods that I could stomach. The rest I couldn't. My whole body was suffering. My energy was
Wow.
suffering. Like I was in complete exhaustion and burnout. And the doctors were like, yeah, Aimee, you're going to live like this forever. And here's medication that you're going to need to take for the rest of your life. And I got 2.
What do you mean that? What do you mean live like this forever? What is that? What does that mean?
They basically said to me, you're going to have these conditions for the rest of your life. And you're going to have to take this
What were the
medication.
conditions?
Different autoimmune conditions. Basically, my body, autoimmune conditions are when your body attacks itself. So things like celiac disease, and I had something called ulcerative colitis and different issues. And what was really interesting that I understood later on was that, the body, like physical issues are related to and unprocessed trauma. And I didn't know that at the time. But when I did a lot of work around psychology and physiology, I understood that there is a really powerful connection between the mind and the body. And so after the doctors told me that, I was really frustrated, and I was like, how dare they try and give me that life sentence? Like, no, that is not my story. And so after, literally it was like 2 days after I left the doctor's office, a friend of mine invited me to a breathwork event where you basically are breathing for a long period of time, and you're able to access like deep parts of your mind and do lots of healing work. But I had no idea what to expect. I thought I was just going to go and do some kind of meditation thing. And so I said, okay, I'll go. And I went. And I remember lying down on the mat, and the guy was guiding the session, and there was drumming, and it was like really immersive. And I literally just remember levitating out of my body, like having an out of body experience, which I never believed anybody when they told me they had that. Like, I thought everybody was just messing around, But I literally like remember levitating out of my body and like looking back and seeing my body on the floor and just being like, what the hell is happening right now? But I had this voice come, and it sounded like the voice of my mum. And it said, if you continue the way you are, you will live like this forever. But you are in control of your destiny, of your future. And it was such a clear message for me to just not believe the sentence I was given by the doctors, to not believe that diagnosis, and to actually tap into the fact that I knew that wasn't the truth and go and heal myself. That was the message. And
So I would like to just take a little bit of a step back before we go further into the journey. You're obviously a very driven individual, and you had this experience where you had the loss of your mum, and that's a pretty traumatic experience. From what I was listening to your story, you said you encapsulated that, and it helped drive you to perform at your best because you used that momentum. Tell me what that means. What is that? How did that go? What was that experience like for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think, the two main emotions that we tend to suppress as human beings is grief and anger, because they are two extremely challenging, painful, intense emotions. And none of us have really been taught how to process our emotions. So those were two emotions that I was feeling deeply. And at the time, I didn't even realize. And I was suppressing them without even realizing. So suppression, when we suppress emotions, we're actually consciously choosing to push the emotion aside. So if you want to cry in public, but you stop yourself or you wipe your tear away, you're suppressing. But repression is like a subconscious act of pushing the emotion away. So children tend to repress emotions. They don't know what they're doing. They're just pushing it away. And so at the time, I was suppressing some, but repressing others. Now I'm aware because I've done the work and I can look back and tell you this. But at the time, I obviously was not aware. And so what that looked like was, feeling the emotions come up in my body, feeling intense heartache, but not going into the emotion, not going there because of how painful it is. And most of us actually believe that if we do go into the emotion, that we'll be stuck there forever, that we won't be able to get out.
Right.
That it's gonna stay with us every day. Our performance is gonna, become poor. Everything will change. And this is why high performers don't like to do the inner work, and they love to stay busy. Because if they're still, they got to face the things they've been trying to suppress and repress for so long. But it's actually such a powerful transformation that happens. And it actually doesn't take long to process these challenging emotions. It takes so long generally, and people think that it takes long because they suppress the emotion, and the emotion just comes back. Every time you suppress, it just comes back. It's not going anywhere. It's going to keep popping up until you're ready to deal with it in some way. And if you don't deal with it, what we've seen happen time and time and time again, and German new medicine has proven this, and tons of research now is coming out to prove the connection, is that the emotion gets stored in the fascia of the body, which is the connective tissue, and eventually can develop as disease down the line. And so German new medicine is a powerful, if you want to look into this, it really connects different diseases with different emotions and traumas that haven't been processed. Very, very powerful. So process your emotions.
So is this what was happening with you? Like go through that journey, because
Yeah.
you had this traumatic experience with your mum. You're 17 years old. You're trying to find your way in life. Like, talk about that. Obviously, the emotions of you're going to connect the emotions with the physical.
Yeah.
But what was that journey like for you? Like, what were you going through in those times, in those moments?
Yeah. I would say, I was young. I was like just 17. I started smoking a lot of weed at the age of 16 to try and like cope. So 16 and 17, I started smoking and trying to use that to cope, and it didn't really help with anything.
So, Aimee, tell me, what is it that you bring to the table, and why should people even listen to you?
Yeah, well, over the past 10 years, I have been literally studying with the greatest minds in self-development, the top of the top, the best of the best. And it's taken a deep dive into all of the topics from psychology to naturopathic medicine to nutrition to breathwork, human and energy optimization, to really be able to build this method that I have over the past 10 years. And, because of this method and because of all of this, I've been able to transform the lives of over 200 successful female entrepreneurs and over 5,000 people globally. And as a result, we've enhanced their energy, their vitality, and we've also really taken their businesses to another level because of that enhancement in energy, vitality, and performance. And some of my clients pay me up to $100,000 to spend a weekend with them, taking them through this method in a personalized way.
Amazing. Love that. And that's so good. I want to come and join. Can I come and join? I'm ready for this.
So we're going, and you can come join.
Love it. Awesome, Aimee. Now, can you share with us, please give us some techniques that we can use right now that'll help us build our endless energy?
Oh, yeah. Love that. Okay. So there's one technique that you can use straight away, which is actually going to give you calm but sustainable energy. Okay, so you're not going to feel like you've just drank like 5 coffees, but you're going to have more energy, but you're going to feel calm at the same time. So this is a breathing technique that you can use to actually regulate the nervous system, but bring it into a state of balance. So it's called the brain to heart coherence technique, because when you do this, what actually happens physiologically is your brain and your heart move into coherence. They start to literally, the waves, the frequency is exactly the same, right? The brain and the heart frequency matches. So what you want to do is you want to breathe in through the nose for a count of 5, and then you want to exhale through the mouth for a count of 5. And it's super, super simple, but it's going to give you lasting energy. So you want to do this for at least 6 to 10 repetitions. Breathing in slow for a count of 5, breathe out slow for a count of 5, no pause at the top or the bottom. And you'll notice such a powerful transformation in just 10 breaths.
10 breaths. Oh, I'm going to try that. As soon as I finish this, that's my technique for the day. Love
Yeah,
it.
it's so good. It's so good.
And just to be honest, guys, I've been with Aimee for a while, and she's given me a few of these techniques, and I have to say, they are awesome. And so I'm definitely going to jump into trying this one as well.
Yes.
Now, what is some of the biggest energy leaks that people struggle with or that happens in their day, and how can we avoid those?
Well, that's such a good question. So I would say that the biggest one I see to be honest, is people struggle to set boundaries. This is a massive energy leak. And you would think, oh, it's eating bad food, it's not sleeping well. 100% these are energy leaks, and we'll get to them. But setting boundaries is actually a massive one, because if we're doing something that we know we shouldn't be doing, or we don't really want to do, but we're saying yes to please someone else, or we're saying yes to try and be the person everybody loves, we leak a ton more energy than if we ate a milk chocolate bar, right? A ton more energy, because it takes a lot of energy to do things we don't really want to do. And this is why, taking care of our energy and setting boundaries and limits is so important, to protect our energy and to generate more energy. And this is one thing people don't realize, is we not only need to generate energy, but we need to protect it. And so that's one of the big ones. After that, I would say sleep is another big energy leak. The lack of sleep and the lack of rest is another big energy leak, because our mind and our body literally repair when we are asleep and when we rest. And if we're not sleeping, we don't get what's called psychogenic repair, which is the repair of the brain, and physical repair, which is the repair of the body. And so we wake up the next day feeling groggy, tired, lethargic, exhausted, and we don't perform well. So that's another big one.
Good.
Yeah.
Amazing. I love that. Awesome. Thank you. So you're going back, let's go back in your journey, right? You're 17 years old. You've gone through this traumatic experience. I really want to know what is going on with you? Like, what were you experiencing going through this, and how did all of this affect you? Let's dive into that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, at the time, I was just feeling, honestly, my heart was broken. My heart was like completely 100% broken. And I felt like a void in my chest. Like the night she died, I remember leaving her bedroom, like watching her take her last breath. And the nurse who was with us was like, yeah, this is going to be her last breath. And I don't know how she knew it, but she knew it. And it was. And it was just in that moment, it was just such a surreal moment to watch someone take their last breath. It's just like, are they there because they're bodies, but they're not there because they've gone? Like, it was such a weird experience. And I remember leaving her room, and I see like one sister run into her husband's arm, the other sister run into her husband's arm. And like in that moment, I had no one. My parents were separated. I just like collapsed onto my knees. And I remember feeling this like void in my chest, and in my stomach. And I think that's partly why I developed all these conditions, was because it was such a deep trauma that I couldn't process. And, that was really, the night of. And then after that, we're very good at picking ourselves back up after trauma, even though when we think about something like that, we imagine it, we're like, oh, how the hell am I going to survive it? But you do. But we just don't know how to process the emotion, the aftermath of emotions, because we've never been taught how to do that. And it's one of the most valuable tools we could ever learn. But yeah, it was a very, very challenging time to go through that. And it pushed me into a lot of distraction. I distracted myself a lot when, dove into achievement, as I mentioned. And then my body was like, well, if you're not going to listen consciously, I'm going to make you listen. And it did.
So interesting. And let's talk a little bit about your distraction into achievement. I've never heard that term before, but it's obviously something that you connected with to take your mind away from this experience and how you're feeling. And so it pushed you to the achievement. And this is where I think the journey starts for you and how you help other people, because you pushed yourself as a performer, right? To perform at the highest level. You got amazing grades. And then you pushed yourself into achievement in the sports arena. And whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you're an athlete, the mindset and the process is pretty much the same, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, talk to
100%.
me that and how your mindset was like, I'm going to achieve these things. I just want to do the best I can at this thing.
Yeah, that was my way of dealing with grief. And this is what I see with high performers a lot. The way we deal with pain, grief, and anger is through achievement. Like, I can't tell you how many entrepreneurs I know and have worked with who, when I started working with them, they are in hustle, grind, go, go, go mode. They have a way out of that, but they're addicted to rushing. They're addicted to running because the stillness will reveal things they've been running from all their lives. And so, you know, that's exactly what I was doing. It was just like running, 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 and distracting myself from feeling. So anytime I would feel a challenging emotion, I would run faster, harder, grind harder, and that was the way. And it was actually my husband, when I met him, when I was 19, I met him. And he sat me down and he put his hand on my heart and he said to me, it's okay to feel. Like, you're safe to feel. And it changed, like, that moment really changed my life. I looked at him like, this is very vulnerable, but this is like amazing to have someone do that for you, especially as a woman. To have a man who can like hold space like that is like, wow, incredible. And it changed my life, that moment. It really did. But it was a continuous journey of evolving. I still was in that hustle grind mode for a while. By the age of 23, I'd built a successful six-figure personal training business. By 24, we raised 1.2 million for another business. And I was still in that hustle grind mode, but I noticed the patterns. So it was a process of slowing down. Today
So you,
is different.
so just so I understand. So you're going through this process, this hustle and grind mode, and it took you to the top of your game, right? And you're feeling like there must have been at one point you're feeling good because you've accomplished so much stuff. But then on the other side of that hill, it kind of all fell apart for you. Is that what happened?
100%. It was actually, it kind of all happened simultaneously, but yeah, when I was at like the peak is when my health was at its worst.
Wow.
I was ignoring my health, and I also was ignoring my emotions. And when you ignore both of those things simultaneously, you can't perform well. Your energy plummets. You can't perform well. You just forget about, like, you can build up to a certain point, but then it stops. Then you plateau. Because without energy, without vitality, you can't scale bigger. You can't grow bigger than where you are. Because you just can't. And then your relationships suffer because your energy plummets and everything starts to fall apart. And that's what happened.
Wow. I can imagine that at the top of your game when that happens, like it's the worst experience you could imagine. Like I could picture, and I see this a lot, right? We as entrepreneurs, we push hard, like you said, the grind, and then we neglect things like health, mindset, trying to be present, and all of these things we put aside, thinking that all we have to do is just make another buck, or just do the next thing, or just get to that next accolade, or just get to that next place.
Yeah.
Not realizing like what happened with you at the point where you don't have that energy to support you any longer, the cards can come tumbling down pretty quickly, right? Talk to me
Um,
about that experience. Talk to me about what that means.
Yeah, 100%. You need foundational pillars of health. And most entrepreneurs and people generally believe that well-being is a luxury, not a necessity. And that's wrong. Completely 100% wrong. Because I've seen entrepreneurs and I've worked with a lot of successful entrepreneurs who, when they start to look after their health, their well-being, their vitality, and their energy, they don't only have more energy and perform better and, their focus improves, but what they used to do in 8 hours, they do in 2 hours. So what does that mean? They have more time freedom to actually do the other things they love and spend time with their family. Their relationship improves, their joy improves. And that's what happened with me. I had to break. I had to allow myself to break emotionally and to really just break 100% and to see what was behind the veil that I was trying to ignore in order to rebuild from a place of inner power, true confidence, because I was lacking in confidence. I was lonely at the time, super lonely. I couldn't even face the loneliness I was feeling. And I rebuilt from this place of, compassion and empathy and understanding of what was going on in my own, mind and body. And that allowed me to stop running and rushing, because we're just running. Where are we running to? And this is the other thing that entrepreneurs believe is like, when I hit that milestone, then I'll slow down. When I hit that, that goal, then I'll rest. And the thing is you don't need to rest. It doesn't have to be one or the other. You just need to implement strategic wellness hacks and rest into your day.
Very good. Yep.
You know?
So I love that. I love that message that you're saying. And I think it resonates. It definitely resonates with me. Excuse me. And I'm sure it resonates with other people, because without energy, you don't have anything. Without that vitality, without feeling good in a day, you don't have anything. And you don't have a business, or you don't have the success.
100%.
I know I've experienced many times where you just feel deflated, you just feel worn out, you just feel burnt out, and you just don't want to do the day, right? You don't want to face
Yeah.
another sales call, you don't want to face another client, you don't want to face another, event or anything like that, because you're worn out. Like, what a terrible place to be. And I love the message that you're talking about today, because it's really important. Without energy, you're at a place, like, energy is everything. Clarity, the focus, the vitality.
Yeah.
And so, very, very powerful message. So what would be one key message that you would give to, now I'm going to dive into your process and your strategy in a second, but what one key message out of the stuff that you've gone through and the people that you've taught, would you share with people right now to help them understand how important this is?
I would first of all say, like, for everybody out there, your energy is your greatest asset. And for all of the entrepreneurs, your energy is your greatest business asset. And when you understand this, when you truly, truly understand that, you know that working on your well-being is vital for your personal life and your business to succeed and to reach new heights. Absolutely 100% vital, because you are the business. You are the brand in whatever you do. So that is the first thing.
So what I would like to know is if you could share with us a key message that you could share with our listeners about the importance of all of your energy, of what it means to have energy. Like, why is that so important? What does that mean even?
The truth is that without energy and vitality, we struggle in all areas of our life. Our health declines. We don't sleep well. We don't actually want to eat well when we're tired. We've all been there when we're feeling tired and you just want to grab something that's like high sugar because it gives you a quick boost of energy, right? So we don't actually feel like we want to take care of our bodies. We feel sluggish. Our focus declines. Our performance declines. Our productivity declines, which means our businesses, if we are entrepreneurs, or our work in general, is suffering. right? This means we're not performing well. What we can do in 3 hours, we take 10 hours to do because we're constantly distracted, right? We have a much higher, ability to for our bodies to experience disease, because without energy and vital flow in our bodies, vital energy in our bodies, what this essentially means is our cells, the cells that produce energy called the mitochondria, are not working properly. And when these cells don't work properly, they've linked this to all of the diseases, cancer, dementia. They're all linked to poor mitochondrial function. So not only does energy lead to all of these issues, but energy is poor because of also having poor mitochondrial dysfunction, right? And it's a vicious cycle. Because with poor energy, you don't want to do things that are going to enhance your energy because you don't have the energy to do it. So you continue the cycle. But there's ways out of that. There are ways to enhance energy and to bring more vital force into your life. And what this does is, when we have more energy and when we are more vital, we're able to perform better, our focus increases, our relationships increase because we're more present with people we love. Our relationships enhance because we're present, we're available, we're listening. We're not just sitting there just like dazed and confused because we have no energy. We're actually present. And our sensuality is enhanced. So in intimate relationships, we're more present, we're more intimate, we're more creative, we're more focused. So what we used to get done in 8 hours, we can now get done in 2 hours. We have more time freedom as a result. We can spend more time with the people we love, and we're not just constantly hustling and grinding and feeling exhausted the whole time. This enhances our business, it increases ROI. I've seen this happen time and time again.
So good. And this is why you have your methodology, right? This is why you have your system. I would like to dive into your process, if that's okay, because I'm loving this. I mean, who wants to have all those bad things happening, right? I don't want to bring on disease. I don't want to bring on feeling groggy and feeling out of touch with my loved ones.
Yeah.
Like, who wants that? So talk to me about your system. Let's dive a little bit into it and explain to me your framework and how it all works.
Awesome. Yeah. So my framework is called the Endless Energy Method. It's a 3-part system that's really taken me over a decade to distill into this specific method. But this method has helped and impacted over 5,000 people, including over 200 successful entrepreneurs. So it's extremely powerful, it's transformational, and it's split into 3 parts. The first part is called Reclaim. And in this part, we're focused on really getting clear on our vision and our identity. What is the vision that we have for our lives and our business? And who is it we need to become to live out that vision? Because so often we're just thinking about, right, I need to do these things in order to get there. But it's, instead of thinking about what you need to do, you need to understand who you need to become and what that vision is. And why is that important for Endless Energy? How does that even connect, right? When we don't have direction for our lives or our businesses, and we don't know who we need to become to live out that vision, we're distracted. We're pulled left, right, and center in 100 million directions, and we don't have a clear direction on where we're heading. So that is not a valuable use of our energy and time. So the clearer we can get, the more we can contain our energy and actually have more impact. So that's part 1. And we use different techniques to really get super, super clear on that. It's not a simple process. Then part 2 is called Clear. And this is where we get deep into the understanding of balance. Why do the top performers in the world know when to push and when to pull back? If you look at athletes, they're not constantly sprinting. They know when to sprint, and they know how to rest so that they can sprint better next time. Strategic rest, right? Balance, strategic rest. how can we learn about strategic rest? We also go deep into the nervous system here. Because when you understand the nervous system and you understand how your nervous system operates and works, you can transform the way you respond to situations and the way you handle situations from an emotional standpoint. Your ability to process emotions and process stress. Most of us are chronically stressed. And this is like the precursor to all disease. This is the biggest problem we have. And it literally drains our energy when we're chronically stressed. So we need to know how to regulate our nervous system and how to regulate stress, our stress response. So this is what we do in part 2. And the final bit of part 2 is we do a lot of work on uncovering patterns. What are the patterns, the subconscious drivers and patterns that you're unaware of, because they're in the subconscious, that are keeping you stuck in overdrive, that are keeping you exhausted, that are keeping you burnt out? What are you not looking at? What are the blind spots that we can uncover so you can have more energy? Because with subconscious patterns, what happens is we are actually spending a lot of our energy trying to keep those patterns running, right? The brain is doing that automatically. So if we can bring them to the conscious mind, like Carl Jung put it, if we can make the unconscious conscious, then we can actually start to not only transform our lives and our beliefs and the way we live, but really start to direct our energy where we want it to go.
That's so good.
Yeah. So that's part 2. So this is where we go deep. Part 2 is deep, and people have the craziest breakthroughs here. And part 3 is all about lifestyle optimization. So part 3, it's called Activate. And here we're optimizing energy from a physiological standpoint. So sleep, nutrition, bioenergetics, breathing, really understanding all of the different aspects of our lifestyle that we can optimize to optimize energy in our life force. So this is the 3-step process.
I love that. And just so I'm clear about this. So first of all, it's understanding, getting clear on the reasons that you're doing the things in a day and what they all mean. Number 2 is about understanding the internal stuff, your nervous system, how you regulate stress, and how to be on top of your daily kind of consumption or management of stress. Is that correct?
Yeah, almost. Almost. Yeah,
Okay.
pretty
So
much.
reiterated to me. So tell me,
Yeah.
clarified.
So the summary is part 1 is all about vision and identity, getting super clear on what you're
Okay, sorry,
directing
vision and
your life.
identity. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Part 2
getting
is
to understand. Yeah.
exactly. Part 2 is uncovering the patterns that are holding you back, keeping you in overdrive, and learning how to overcome them through nervous system regulation and balance.
Wow.
And then part 3
And
is
then
lifestyle
the last
optimization.
part is engineering your lifestyle, because all of
Yeah,
these are big problems that you're solving, because a lot of people do stuff every day and sometimes they don't even have clarity about why they're doing it. And
100%.
then there's this, like, I know so many people that don't understand then, like, what is stress? What does it even mean? Like, why am I feeling overwhelmed? Why is my head feel like I want to explode? Why am I feeling deflated? Why am
Yeah,
I feeling like I'm like dragging my feet? I've been eating well. I've been trying to do all this stuff, but I'm still not performing. Why is my body doing that? And I think you're uncovering that by understanding the nervous system. And then
yeah,
there's engineering lifestyle, right? And this is a key, probably a big aspect that a lot of people struggle with. They don't know the steps they need to take in a day and how to be able to operate functionally and to operate at their best. So they look at all the YouTube videos and they look at all the stuff out there and they look at all
yeah,
the things, and then
yeah,
but people are overwhelmed. They're confused. Like, what is like, what do I actually do? They try all
100%.
these things, but they're still in the same place they were last year.
Yeah,
Whereas working through a system like this is strategic, is systematized, and you're giving people a clear step-by-step roadmap to get to the place they want to be. Is that correct?
that's right. Like this is like trialed and tested over a decade. This is stuff that works. There's no fluff. There's nothing that might work, might not work. Like this is just pure science, and this works. And, it's different to, what people traditionally do is they'll go to the doctor and they'll ask the doctor why they have constant headaches. And the doctor might do some tests, but generally speaking, the doctor will give them a pill to suppress the symptom, but never getting to the root cause of the problem. And that's what we do, is we're really coming at the foundational levels to enhance energy from the ground up, not just through a supplement.
Good. I love that. Because if you can bring energy on naturally, so much better. And I've experienced
Yeah.
that myself personally, my
Yeah.
journey. When you're taking supplements and enhancements and stuff like that to build up your energy, it wears you out in the long run. You burn yourself out faster, and you
Mm-hmm.
feel the grogginess. Like a few days, you might feel good, but 3-4 days later, you're worn out because that's just what the effect of the chemicals are having in your system. And so I love this idea of natural energy. Like I
Yeah.
want to be fully engaged and motivated 100%, but naturally, so that I can feel good, go to sleep good, wake up good. Like, and
Yeah.
that's what you've been helping people with. And I love
Yeah.
that. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I think there's so much value in this, and so many more entrepreneurs are missing the mark because they're missing this gap, right? Pushing so hard, wanting to make money, building businesses, like you got staff relying on you, you got to pay the bills, you got all these things. And so it's go, 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 go. And at some point, something's going to give, right? Like what happened with you. Top of your game comes tumbling down very quickly. It's happened for me in my past as well. So I love this. You got a really amazing message, Aimee, and I love it so much. I want to dive into this. Like you've gone through this, you've worked with lots of people, you've helped so many people achieve great things in their lives. Talk to me about some of the lessons that you've learned, some of the key lessons that you've taken away from this experience and as you've grown as an entrepreneur yourself.
Yeah. You know, I would say the most important for me has been to include strategic rest into my strategy. So this doesn't mean a holiday every 2 months for 5 days and then get straight back into the grind every day up until the next one. This doesn't mean 16-hour days Monday to Friday, well, Monday to Saturday, and take a Sunday off. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is strategic, strategized rest and systemized planning of your days and weeks so that you can accomplish crazy amounts in shorter periods, enhance energy, and still have time for your family and your loved ones whilst building an incredible business. And it's possible because I've seen it happen time and time again. We just have this belief, right? This belief that if you're not hustling and grinding, you're not successful. If you're not working 16-hour days and you're not working till 3 a.m., you're not doing enough. It's this narrative of you must be obsessed, you must be exhausted, you must sacrifice. Sacrifice. It's like a sacrificial energy, right? Sacrifice yourself for the business. But the most successful entrepreneurs I know don't do that. They work hard, don't get me wrong. They are obsessed with what they do in their building, 100%. But they're strategic with their time and their energy. And that's the most important thing. So that would be the first lesson, that, a big one.
Any other lessons you have?
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a few. So I'd
Let's
say,
hear.
yeah, I'd say that the next one would be, honestly, to just not take things so seriously. There's a magic that comes with being playful during the challenge and the chaos. And it's hard to do because we naturally want to be pissed and we want to be angry, or we want to be upset, or we want to beat ourselves up for like not closing the deal or whatever it is. But truthfully, if we can just learn to be more playful amongst the chaos and loosen our grip a little and just lean out a little bit and trust the process whilst working hard, but trust the process, it brings so much more peace to the building phase and to the journey. And this is, if I've worked with some of the greatest minds in self-development. And if I look at all of them, they share one common theme. Not only are they successful in their own right, but they are playful. They know how to laugh through pain and challenge. And it's truly amazing. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing it. I can totally appreciate that. That makes so much sense. Any other lessons we might learn from you today?
If I can share a message to anybody listening, if you don't do the work, your body will do it for you, and it will be 10 times harder. That's the truth. And no one tells you this, but the truth is if you don't do the work and you don't pay attention to your body as a living organism, not just a tool, not just this thing, but actually as a living organism that's listening to your thoughts, that's paying attention to your feelings, and you don't treat it as a true living sovereign organism, your body will collapse at some point. If you just keep going on the hamster wheel and you don't stop, it's almost guaranteed. And it's way harder. Life is way harder when we don't do the work. So do the work. That'll be my message to you.
That first deep and great lessons learned. I think all of those key messages are super, super important for anyone listening. So if you want to have success, if you want to have, well, the core essence of that is you need energy. It doesn't happen without energy. And so these are very valuable lessons. Thank you so much for sharing that with me today.
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot and I'm taking it all in, and it's really resonating with me as well. Tell me, what does your future vision look like for, like, where are you going with all of this for the people that you're helping? And what does the future look like for you?
Amazing. Yeah. Right now, I'm building a membership club for entrepreneurs called the Empower Club. I'm specifically focused on female entrepreneurs. And the vision is to build to 100 members in our first year, which we're in now, to 1,000 members in our second year, and to 3,000 members in our third year. This is the vision. And we are going to be running retreats throughout the year in different parts of the world, specifically for female entrepreneurs initially. And we're going to be journeying through the Endless Energy method. After that, there's ongoing support and many other cool features like personalization, personalized programs around well-being. But the vision is to grow this club into the world's leading membership club for female entrepreneurs in terms of wellness. We want to be like the wellness Soho house for female entrepreneurs globally.
It's amazing. I love that. And so this is obviously an exclusive club that you're creating.
Yeah.
There is an entry fee into this, and you want to have a group of like-minded individuals, which is amazing, right? There's nothing better than a group of like-minded individuals all in the same journey, working together.
Yeah.
How amazing is that? And I love that. That's super powerful. So tell me, let's take a step back. You've been working with lots of entrepreneurs. I know you help lady entrepreneurs excel in their businesses, and that's so amazing. Tell me, what is some of the advice you would give from what you've learned so far to female entrepreneurs or lady entrepreneurs that are wanting to grow their businesses or scale their businesses? Like, what are the things you're seeing out there and some of the advice that you could give?
Yeah, I think one of the main things is that women need to realize that we don't operate hormonally in the same way as men. And the system has been created around the male hormonal system. Just because women couldn't work back in the day, they didn't work, right? So it was created around the male hormonal male system, right? Just the male system. And it never changed. And women just had to kind of find their way to integrate into that. But it's very, very unnatural for women to be working, grinding, and hustling as hard as men from a hormonal standpoint. It's not that we can't handle it. There are some women that are incredibly resilient, others that, need more rest. But it's just, generally speaking, for our health, our vitality, and our energy, we're more cyclical. Meaning, there are some days where we'll give 100%. But there are other days where we're going to give 10% because we need rest. That like every single day, perfect, perfectly planned calendar is a little bit more challenging for women when it comes to enhancing energy than it is for men, just due to the way our hormones work, the way that we are more cyclical. And so what I would say to women is, if you can find a way to structure your calendar, and this is something we help with in the program, to structure your calendar so that you have a little bit more flexibility to go all in on some days and pull back a little bit on other days based around your cycle, based around menopause. Doesn't matter where you are, if you're menopausal or not. But if you can start to work around your cycle in terms of how you perform and when you perform, it will change your life and it will change your energy. 100%. So that is the first thing. And the second thing I'd say to the women is, you can build a multi-million-dollar business, a super successful business, but still stay feminine. I've seen this happen time and time again. And I've trained women to come into that femininity, back into their femininity, their sensuality, their creativity, but still, build and grow their businesses simultaneously. And it is possible. So.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that story. I would just like to go back to your context about industry being built for men.
Yeah.
My perspective on this, when industry started, it wasn't designed for men or women. It was designed for profit. And it's the same engine that was running 100 years ago that's running now. It's designed for profit. It's an economics engine. And so however the dynamic of male or female came into this engine, for me personally, it's hard for both. Hard for anyone. It's hard for people in general because it's profit driven.
Yeah.
And so I love your context of that. We each need to individualize how we're approaching this or how we look at our journey into business, because whether you're male or female, we're all been thrown into this mix, and it's like a washing machine and it's spinning. And we're all trying to just grind our hands around this stuff, right?
Yeah.
But knowing your biology 100% is a key natural ingredient, because we have separate biologies. We're different biologies. For men, like we at the age of 40, our testosterone depletes. And that's one of the big key ingredients that causes a lot of men to lose motivation, to lose energy. And in women, we have a different kind of hormonal cycle happening. So I love that. I love the message. And we each need to look after ourselves in our own unique ways, ultimately. Am I right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, 100%. Definitely it was built around profit initially. In terms of the structures, what I mean is, men tend to operate better with structured days. I'm going to wake up at this time, even if it's your own structure. I'm going to wake up at this time, I'm going to do this thing, and then I'm going to have a break here, and then I'm going to do that thing. And it tends to work better for men. I've worked with many, many men, right? And this structure just tends to work better for men than women. I'm going to do the ice bath at 6 a.m. and then I'm going to have a shower and then I'm going to have my breakfast and then I'm going to do this thing. And it's like the structure. Women generally tend to, like, if we try and do that, we'll feel amazing for a week. And then come the following Monday, like, crap, I don't feel, I need a rest today. but I've got this thing I need to do my ice bath at 6 a.m. And it's just women, like I haven't seen one woman who wakes up every day and does an ice bath every day, perfectly, every day, like men do. Just haven't seen it. It's just different, because we're just a bit more like this.
You have met one,
I have met one.
Sahara.
Oh, yeah.
You have met Sahara.
Um,
She's crazy disciplined and probably way
Amazing.
more disciplined than I am when it comes to this stuff.
So good.
She's cold shower every morning. She doesn't stop. She exercise, and then she makes me feel
Amazing.
guilty if I don't do it.
Yep.
She's a, she's a little powerhouse.
I love that. Amazing. Yeah, 100%. There are the powerhouses. There are the powerhouses. 100%. Love
Yeah,
it.
love it, love it. And but at the end of the day, ultimately, we're talking about the energy, endless energy, and it doesn't matter who you are. This message is super powerful, super important because we don't get to survive or thrive without good energy. And Aimee here today has given us some really amazing tools and some really good advice, guys, about this whole process. Aimee, how do people get hold of you if they wanted to learn more about you and what you're doing?
Yeah, so there's a few ways you can follow me on Instagram, which is at Aimee, AIMEE Buchler, Buchler. You can also head to my masterclass, the Endless Energy Masterclass, which is where I take you on a 4-hour journey through my Endless Energy method. And we really journey through, and I give you all of the insider tools and techniques that have really transformed my life and the life of my clients. So a lot of value if you are interested in enhancing your energy and your vitality and coming away from the overwork and the burnout and the exhaustion. That's the space for you. So those would be the two places.
Amazing, amazing. There's links in the show notes. Aimee, it has been an honor and a pleasure to hang out with you. You're making a huge impact. You're changing so many people's lives and you're helping so many people get endless energy, which I think is brilliant. It's magnificent. You are an amazing person. Thank you so much for being on our podcast today and all the best.
Thank you so much for having me.